So here we go then, another project. Now this is a Bachmann Class 37 chassis. This is going to be a project to weather and detail this model. So let's get into the video and find out a bit more. So here we are then, here's the bogie side frames that I've literally just taken off this model here, which is the Mainline Blue livery Class 37, which was part of a rail exclusive pack a number of years ago now. You can see how much grease has been used on these, and the first job to do will be to tidy this up, get rid of a lot of this grease, because clearly you don't really need that amount in there. So I'll tidy that up and then we'll move on to the next stage. So there we are, quite a quick job there. I've just cleaned these out. You'll see that I've not taken all of the grease out. This wouldn't be ideal, to be honest. You need to leave a little bit in there. But I do remember a number of years ago reading some threads on our own web to say that Bachmann, when they were released from the factory, a lot of these 37s were over greased. I'm not sure if this is a current, still a current problem with models. I've not had a new Bachmann model for quite a few years now. But either way, it's quite a quick job just to take the bogie side frames off, which I needed to do anyway, and just give them a quick wipe out. We'll move on to the next stage now. Whilst I've got the model stripped down, it's probably worth painting the wheels. So I'll just use a pot of Humbrol paint to do this. Probably something like this. So this is matte 173, just so the wheels aren't the colour that they are at the moment. Just makes it look a little bit more prototypical. So I'll do that now and I'll come back to you in a minute. So that's this side of the bogie side frames done. Quite a quick job, not too difficult to do, and probably worth doing because when you do look at the model from side on, certainly on my other 37 that I've got, it's quite noticeable that the fronts of the wheels are black rather than being weathered as they would do in real life. So worth doing, worth spending 5 minutes doing. So I'm just going to go and do the other side now, but I won't film that. So we'll come back in a minute and move on to the next stage. So we are all the bogies are done now. Just used matte 173, the Humbrol range, to do that. So they're drying quite nicely. Leave those to dry probably overnight, and I'll have another look tomorrow. If they need going over again, that's not a problem. It won't take 2 minutes to do that. Next stage is to begin applying Maskell to the windows of the body of the Class 37. Once again, I'd like to apologise for my messy workbench, but I wouldn't really have it any other way, to be honest. I know where everything is, so that's the main thing. So the next stage to this project is to apply some Maskell to all of the windows on this Bachmann 37. It's important that you do this, and I'm saying this from past mistakes, because once you start weathering the loco, you don't want to taint the glazing necessarily with splodges of brown paint, so it's worth taking this extra step to mask up the windows. Now I guess you could use masking tape if you wanted, but I found this way a little bit easier, and like I said, it's worth doing just so that you don't get paint in the wrong places. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Mask up all of the windows on this 37, and then we'll move on to the next stage. So there we are. It looks a bit messy on camera, but it will do the job, and any overspill will come straight off anyway, so there's no issues there. So that's taken me about 10 minutes or so, probably less than that to do. So we'll wait for this to dry now, and whilst that's drying, I'm going to move on to the start of weathering the bogies, so the bogie side frames, at least to do the base weathering for these. So here we are moving on to the bogie side frames for this project with 37798 in Mainline Blue livery. Probably one of the best sort of privatisation liveries in my opinion. Anyways, I don't own an airbrush. I'd like to get one this year at some point, but it's an investment, and a little plug for Charlie at Chadwick. I watched his video a couple of weeks ago again on airbrushing, and in it he shares some great tips and advice, and one thing I took away was that it is better to invest wisely and to spend as much as you can on the airbrush to save buying twice, and to make sure that you kind of get the best results possible. So that's something for the future, but for now I had some rail match sleeper grime left over from where I've used it to weather the track on previous layouts. So what I've done is just as a first coat, I've sprayed the bogie side frames with sleeper grime, just a really thin coat, and then what I've done is got some thinners and just picked out the springs and the axle box covers, because I didn't want to coat those in dirt. If I want to do that, I'll add that later. And I'll just be absolutely clear to say here that this is just the first coat. It's to kind of just to provide that base level of weathering, which you can do by painting, but I just feel it doesn't give you the same effect as with spraying. So from this sort of base level of paint here and weathering, I can add some more washes of different colours and add some more oil stains and use weathering powders to develop it even more. So it would be unwise of me just to keep it like this, and I'm sure some of the models that you see on eBay where they're claimed to be pro-weathered would just spray the model and you know, class that as a prototypical level of weathering. But for me, I want to go forward and sort of add some more washes and bring out some more detail, use some different browns and greys and blacks to do that, because the locomotive doesn't collect brake dust and grime from the sleepers in a uniform way, and therefore how we model it should not be in a uniform way either. Sorry, rant over. Anyways, here's the base level of weathering, and I'm going to let this dry now, probably overnight, and we'll move on to the washes and the next stage after that's dried. Whilst this is drying, I'm going to go and find some photos of 37798 on Flickr and just have a look at the type of weathering that the loco accumulated over its life and in the era that I'm hoping to model. And I'll come back to you in a few moments if I'm able to find some. So that's where we'll leave it today for this video. The bogey side frames are drying here, and the maskell's drying on the body of the 37. The next stage will be to move on to finding some prototype photos to work from, and to carry on with the weathering of the body shell and these bogies. So hope you enjoyed this short video, and look forward to joining you in the next one. Thanks guys.